Well, In the Moment was spawned from a music series that we put on. You know, amongst being a drummer and just as a drummer for hire and a band leader, I've been involved in like trying to put series on or music directing or different things, running studios and stuff in my career. I like to produce, so it's always been a part of me, is like being a producer and wanting to make records of my own or make records for other people, put on performances, create environments for us to do this, because we always need more places to let the creative things happen. So I met a guy, Scotty McNeese, who started the label International Anthem, and we wanted just to have an interesting, it's a very Chicago style thing, and find like a small space and do like a kind of off little music thing in a cool place, right? And so we were in this restaurant that was an old bank, and it had a vault, and they put us in the vault, and it was this really cool like dark lounge. People go and drink and hang out. And so we were doing an improvised series there on Wednesdays, and our idea was to record them, to do whatever with. I was at the same time heavily just doing production a lot, and not necessarily as a profession. I'm a professional drummer, but in my bedroom I'm making beats. You know what I mean? In my bedroom I'm on Ableton and I'm doing all this stuff. And so as we did this improvised series, every time I got one of these recordings, I take it and I start to just mess with the audio and or just put it in. I just want to listen to what happened, you know, and that really spawned the creative process where I started to, you know, integrate the beat making stuff with Ableton. What I love about that is that you can have a jam, say, and it could take a while for something cool to happen, you know, depending on, you know, the group of people, your connection, that particular improvisation, a lot of things, you know, whether the jam goes well or not. But to me, when spontaneous moments happen that are magical, it's like nothing else that you can pre-plan. And that's a really cool thing. And it might only be a fleeting moment in that performance. It's not necessarily like putting on a big festival set, you know. It's a moment, and there can be the avant-garde playing in there, which has a certain kind of emotive feeling, you know. And I also like to put grooves in the improvisational context, so it's not all maybe just, you know, non-idiomatic free playing, but we're also like putting grooves in there and like some beats. But I also don't want to just like vamp out forever, because that could get boring. So I try to have these improvised sets where we call it, the night was spontaneous composition. So we're trying to compose in the moment and just play together. And sometimes it was cool and sometimes it was not. Through the process of elimination and editing, you know, I would go through these things and try to find those magic times and find those special moments that interesting. Like working with live audio was interesting, because, you know, we're playing in a place. Sometimes we were constantly trying to get people to come to this event. Like, we need more people, you know, and we're promoting it. Some nights were great, depending on who was there, and some nights would be like, oh, there's a leftover party in the room, and they're like talking over the music, you know. And that was something I wanted to like get out there as I made the record too. And it's like, okay, look, we're hosting this like really cool hip event, you know, but people don't know or think it's cool or hip, you know. And so often, like in a regional place, like it could be right here in Rotterdam, you could walk into a place and there could be some really cool music happening. So through that process of, you know, being a bedroom producer, you know, being a professional active drummer, and wanting to just be a creative person, you know, I started to piece together things, and we had the series for a year. So it was a lot of recordings that it took for me to go through to come out with that final project, which was in the moment, and that really kind of
fantastic
spawned a new kind of creative process for me that I've been like still developing and adapting.